Hello everyone and welcome to a more laid back video I think, where today we will rank every single game I played in 2021 in a tier list. And short intro, let's just get straight into it. Okay, and this is the tier list. And so as you can see, we have all the tiers here. Enter top 10, meaning it broke my top 10 of all time. Near perfect, phenomenal, great fun, good, okay, meh, oh god, and trash. And I'll try to give a good reasoning for each placement. I don't think there's like any game that'll go here. There might be, I don't know, we'll just see. But the first game we have here is Dark Souls 3. Now, it's Dark Souls 3 is probably my favourite Souls game, but like I don't know how the Souls series as a whole I feel about it, because it misses sometimes and it absolutely bangs in others. Dark Souls 3 is probably like it's probably like the best you're gonna get in a Souls game. We'll have to see when Elden Ring comes out, but it's probably the best you'll see in the entire series. That's including like Bloodborne and Sekiro in my opinion. It's just really phenomenal. I love the DLCs. The area design is on point. Everything about it is just near perfect. It didn't crack my top 10 because it to crack my top 10 it has to be like, it has to give me some type of emotional experience. It has to be very emotionally memorable for me, and nothing in a Dark Souls game or a Soulsborne game can really do that. Next game up we have is Persona 5 Scramble. Now, this is tricky because this isn't like a full Persona game, it is a side-off game, and it only works because it's the Phantom Thieves in it. It's the story is kind of bland apart from, is it Zenpachi or Zenkichi? I forgot, but he's really good. I really like his voice acting. I think the script writing here is the best Persona has ever had. It's really funny, it really matches the tone of the Phantom Thieves. I think all their chemistry is really good. It's really difficult to give it like a near perfect because it's not what I look for in a Persona game. Some of the villains were, all the villains were very kind of okay. I'm just putting great fun. It was really fun. Definitely I'd recommend you to buy it if you're a fan of Persona 5, but it's not like a must play. Next game up we have is Yakuza 4. Now, I played all of the Yakuza games this year apart from like Kiwami and 2, like an entire like binge of the series. 4 by far is the worst one. The first half of 4 is okay. Like, it's pretty good. I love Akiyama, I love Saejima, and I love Kiryu. But when it gets to the fourth guy, I can't even remember his name. When it gets to the fourth guy and the final chapters of the game, it just bombs so heavily. It's so like underwhelming. It's just like, I will admit it is kind of bad because it's the first time they're experimenting with multiple protagonists. However, I just cannot see it like, it's just a worse version of what Yakuza 5 is. In Yakuza 5 is where they perfected the multiple protagonist kind of format, but Yakuza 4 just isn't it. It's like really bad. A lot of people say Yakuza 3 is like the black sheep of the series. No, Yakuza 4 definitely is. It's not as good as any of the other ones by far. Next game is Hades. Hades, I made a video on it about the repetition in the gameplay. If you want to go check that out, it's on my channel. I'll leave a link in the description and in the info card up in the top right corner. But, oh, this is difficult because Hades repetition is very fun. But if you're like me and you're bad at the game and you've gone over like 50 runs, it's not a game you can like binge and play because you'll just get kind of bored after the first 30 runs. After you beat Hades mainly for the first time, if you beat him another like 3 times, it starts to get kind of repetitive and annoying, and you kind of have to take breaks from it. But overall as a game, I'd say it's probably near perfect. It's in terms of roguelikes, it's probably better than Dark Souls 3 in my opinion, just because of how artistic it is. Like, I love the art style, and I love the art in Dark Souls 3, don't get me wrong, but Hades' art style and tone just fits a lot more to me personally. Pokemon Y. Now, I had a really weird phase this year of just wanting to finish a Pokemon game. It didn't matter which one it was. Like, I had Pokemon Ultra Sun, oh no, Pokemon Ultra Moon, and then we had Pokemon Y, and then Pokemon Sapphire, I think. And I just had like an extreme urge to just finish a Pokemon game, and I finished Y. I really enjoyed it personally. I'm not like a massive Pokemon guy, but I really enjoyed it. I'd say it was good. It was good. I really enjoyed it. There's not really much to say as a Pokemon game, but yeah. Okay, this might be my first hot take of the video. Cyberpunk 2077. This is difficult. I think I know where I'm gonna put it. It's gonna go on phenomenal. I'm sorry to all the haters, all the Cyberpunk 2077 haters, but after patches, this game it's phenomenal in my opinion. I love it. I love the tone. I love what they did with the story. The only thing that holds it back is the side content. I think the side missions and the miscellaneous content is like The Witcher 3, for example, had like a good balance between miscellaneous stuff like the nests and weird shit like that, and then it also had the side missions which had so much depth to each and every one. Like, everyone had a personality. With Cyberpunk, they really just didn't hit that mark, and I don't know if that's because of the crunch and the lack of time they had to actually make the game, but compared to The Witcher 3, there's just not enough depth in the side missions and certain aspects of the game for it to be again near perfect or even crack my top 10. I did really enjoy this game, and it's probably one of the most unique video games ever created, just because of the journey of its development and such, and then when you eventually finish it. The next gen patch is coming out in the first quarter of 2022, and I will definitely be making a review / like big video on Cyberpunk's journey, and I also have a video in the works about the revival of what could be Cyberpunk 2077, so stay tuned for that. But the next game we have on here is A Plague Tale Innocent. Now, this game is okay. Like, I didn't like it didn't change my life or anything. Like, I'd say it was good. Like, there's not much for me to say. I like Hugo, I like Amelie, I like the story. It was a good length. It wasn't too long, it wasn't too short. Again, with games like this, like kind of smaller games from smaller development studios, when they focus too much on the main characters and don't have enough time for the villains, and the villain here was just really kind of just shit. Wasn't he like the Archbishop or something? I can't remember at all. But it was like okay. Like, I wouldn't want to play it again anytime soon. But it was a good game. It was a good game. Deathloop. Now, I'm put Deathloop in okay, because I did really like Deathloop, but it's like just more of what Arcane is good at, and there's not really a lot of innovation in it. Like, the most unique part of this compared to the previous Arcane games is the gimmick of the game, which is repeating the same day over and over again. Apart from that, it's very much just like a normal Dishonored game. You're not really going to find anything different. Like, there's rehashed powers. It kind of just plays the same except with guns. Like, you're not really going to find a unique Arcane Studios experience from this. If you like Dishonored like I did, then go ahead and play it, because you'll love it. You definitely will. But the standout of this is the gimmick and Juliana and Colt's relationship and their dialogue. They're really well voice acted, and I really wish that. I think Colt's voice actor and Juliana's was both nominated for best performance. I wish one of them won it, cause they were so good. Like, I'd say buy this game for their performance alone, but the story is a bit too short and it holds your hand a bit too much. I wish it didn't kind of just. I wish it didn't tell you where to go. I wish you could just figure it out on your own, because that was the biggest selling point for me. That when you eventually do find all these clues to kill all your targets in the one day, you figure it out on your own. But instead, the game just gives you a guide on how to do it, and it just makes it boring. But yeah, it's a weird game for me, honestly. It is. The next game on our list is Devil May Cry 3. Now, on advice from a friend, I played Devil May Cry 3 first because it's a prequel. I really enjoyed this game. It's an old game. It's gonna have its like dated and outdated like concepts, but overall it's a really solid game. The Devil May Cry series is really fun so far. I'm on Devil May Cry 2. We have Devil May Cry 1 next, but yeah, this was probably my favorite Dante so far. It was really kind of quippy. It just felt like the Dante I would imagine is in charge of the Devil May Cry series. Compared to 1 and 2 so far, they don't kind of match at all. I'm excited to see what they did in 4, because from people I've heard that have played 4, Dante is at his like best there, or in 3. So if 4 matches 3, then I'm definitely going to love this series. I'm going to keep playing it. Maybe I'll make a video when I'm done with it. I don't know. It's not really a video worthy series to make. But yeah, it's in great fun. It's probably the best Devil May Cry from what I hear. And hopefully I'll enjoy the other games. Now, Devil May Cry 1, I'm putting meh. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's just like, it just is nothing. Like, there's nothing unique about it. It's just like a standard, like, I can't remember when it was released, like PS2, PS1. Like, it's just a standard brawler game with swords. It's like, you can't describe it. Like, you can't say anything that's unique about this game. It's just kind of cool. I couldn't even remember the story until like halfway through. I think I do like about the games are that they're fairly short, because the gameplay formula does get very repetitive and annoying, but the games are very short. They're like 20 missions, like 6 to like 8 hours each game. It's difficult for me to give any praise to this, and it's difficult for me to like say there's anything wrong with it. It's just kind of a meh game. Right, Final Fantasy VII Remake. I think this will be the first game that goes into the entered top 10. Yeah, this game was just phenomenal. I have played Final Fantasy games before this, but it was only like 15. But Cloud, I love him. The story is great. The characters are great. I do want to play more Final Fantasy games in the future. I can't wait to continue the tale of Cloud when the sequel to the remake comes out. But yeah, everything about this game is just kind of perfect to me in terms of like a remake, and in terms of just like quality. Like, it's just a fucking phenomenal game, and if you haven't played it, I highly recommend you do, because you will definitely enjoy it. The next game on our list is Dark Souls Remastered. Now, I'll put it in okay. It's an okay game. There's a lot of things I find wrong with it. It's just kind of dated, I think. That's a majority of the criticism for me. It's a very dated game, even with the remaster. Some parts can be really boring, very annoying, and not annoying in terms like it's difficult so I get annoyed. It's the fact that it's badly made so I get annoyed. Like, there's a section in Anor Londo where you have to go over scaffolding, and I don't know who made the decision to try and put platforming in a Souls game, but they shouldn't have. Like, it just isn't Souls. It isn't like Dark Souls. Platforming isn't Dark Souls. Like, do not do it in a Dark Souls game. It just puts it down a few notches. There's a lot of aspects like that in the game that I just didn't enjoy that much. But it's not a bad game. Like, looking at the list right now, I don't think any of these are going in, oh god, are trash. None of these games are bad. But it was just kind of a letdown considering how hyped up Dark Souls 1 is. Next is Yakuza 3. Yakuza 3 it's better than 4. I like Yakuza 3 because the ending is really good, the last couple of chapters is really good. The rest of the game is just kind of mid. Like, I dropped this game at like the beginning of it because a majority of the beginning chapters is literally just taking care of an orphanage. And as much as the orphanage sections are really cute with Kiryu being like a dad basically with Haruka, it is like, it's not Yakuza. You get bored of it after doing like 5 chapters in a row for like the orphan kids. But the ending of 3 is really good. The final boss battle, the last couple chapters, the story overall is pretty good. The overarching plot of it, yeah, I'd put in good. It's pretty decent for a game. Yakuza Like a Dragon. Now, this is also going in Enter Top 10. This is what a JRPG should be. Any game developer that tries to make a JRPG should strive to be this. Because this is literally a perfect game. I'm not going to hear any criticisms about it. This is a perfect game. Ichiban is perfect. His squad mates is perfect. The story is perfect. The setting is perfect. The sub-stories are perfect. Literally everything about this game is perfect. I can't think of a single flaw about it. This game made me bawl my eyes out. It's literally... I'm literally fangirling over it because it is such a bloody good game. Like, even if you can't be bothered to play the rest of the Yakuza series, play this one. Because it's just so good. And hopefully if you play this one instead of the rest of the series, you'll play the rest of the series after it, because a majority of the series is near enough, it's kind of good enough to match to this. But yeah, this game is like perfect. I love every single thing about it. I could talk about it for hours. I want to do a review on it at some point when I replay it. I just can't wait for it. Demon Souls now, for a remake, compared to Final Fantasy VII, it's good. It's a good remake, and it's like it was my second experience on the PS5, and it was really like fun to just play through the originator of the Souls formula. I'd put in phenomenal. It was a really good game. I felt it was too short, cause if you don't know, the way the game is structured is through like 5 or 4 main levels with mini stages placed throughout it, and I felt the game, if it was just longer, I would have loved it more. It felt too short. There's not a lot of criticisms I can give to it. It is a remake, it's on PS5, it's probably, like, gameplay and graphic wise, it's probably the best Souls game we've gotten, if you don't count like Sekiro as a Souls game, because it doesn't have Souls in the title. It's not the best roguelike. If it was longer, I would have loved it more, but overall, it's a very phenomenal game. Not better than Cyberpunk, which I think most people hate me for, but it's definitely really good. Next is the most surprising one for me, is Disco Elysium. This game is near perfect. It doesn't crack my top 10 just because of the quality of the games that are in my top 10. Like, and plus CRPGs aren't usually my thing. I mostly stick to normal RPGs and JRPGs, but this is the only CRPG I played, and it's I just love everything about it. Revachol is probably one of my favourite settings in gaming. It has some of my favourite art in video games. It has probably my favourite humour. This genuinely made me laugh out loud multiple times because of how funny this game is. I love Kashiwagi. Is that his name? Kashiwagi? Ken Kitsuragi, that's his name. Kitsuragi is probably one of my favorite characters in just video games. I love his dialogue. I love how his voice actor. I love how he's written. It's just a really fun game, and even if CRPGs aren't your thing, I definitely recommend you buy this game. The tone is great. It's like depressing but comical about it. It's very like dark and dry humor. I don't mean dark humor as in just straight up racism. I mean actual like dark humor. Um, it's very philosophical. There's a lot of words in the game I still don't understand. It talks a lot about politics and philosophies. Like, I don't know what a free market is, and they talk about it a lot. I'm just really dumb. I'm too dumb to understand this game, but I still love it. If you're like a person who's really into like politics or some shit like that, I definitely recommend you like this game, because it just uses a lot of politic mumbo jumbo that people like that get off to. But it's a really good game. I highly recommend it to anyone. Life is Strange True Colors, best Life is Strange game so far. It's near perfect. The only gripe I have with it is episode 5 is too short. It was a good episode 5, it was a good finale episode, except compared to other finale episodes, when you look at the Telltale games or when you look at the previous Life is Strange games, which are like 2 hours, a bit longer than the normal episodes, then you find a problem with it. I feel like it went by way too fast. I wish there was more padding to it. I wish there was more of Alex being disbelieved, because when you... No, I don't wish for that. I wish there was more in the final episode of Alex being missing, because when she shows up, it's like everyone's normal, and they're like, oh my god, Alex, you look like shit. But it's like, did you not even know she was gone? Like, where do you think she went? Like, it's so weird, that final episode, but the final, like, speech she gives to Jed, and the entire, like, first 4 episodes are, like, perfect to me. I love the ending, I love the characters. I still have to play the DLC, which I might buy or not. This is a hot take, I didn't really like Steph as a character. I think it's cause I didn't like Chloe, and because she's like, she still gives the same vibe as Chloe, like the rocker girl. I just can't seem to like her. Like, I don't know, I think Chloe just scarred me. I didn't like Chloe whatsoever in the normal Life is Strange. But overall, was a really good experience, and I'll talk about it more in the next video I'm releasing about if 2021 was a good year for video games. But yeah, near perfect game. A Short Hike. Now this is a game I was interested in because of Rasputin. I watched one of his videos and he mentioned this game. So when it was released on PS5, I decided to buy it, and it's just a really cute game. Like, the plot of the game is you're a bird in this national park and you have to go to the top of like the mountain to get cell service, but you just manage to find all of these kind of side missions and side quests that are really fun to do. You go fishing, you race, you find someone's like lucky headband. It's just a really fun and cute game, and it's like only like £7, and it's like an hour long. I definitely recommend you buy it if you just want like an hour to like sit down, relax, and just chill out and play like a really cute funsy game. Okay, next is the start of the Mass Effect trilogy, which I played due to the Legendary Edition getting released. Mass Effect 1, great fun, really enjoyed it. Mass Effect 2, I wouldn't say it broke my top 10, but it's near perfect. I've really enjoyed it, everything about it is great. Mass Effect 3, probably another hot take. Phenomenal. I really liked everything about this game apart from like the ending, which I wish was a little bit more clearer and wasn't filled with kind of just things that aren't explained. Because it's not, the ending of Mass Effect 3 isn't bad. It's just really confusing, and it's not written to be the most clearest thing in the world, but that doesn't bring it down a lot for me. I still understand a majority of what it was going for, and I agree with it. But compared to Mass Effect 2 and 1, which for the most part are pretty much perfect, it's just a stage of like quality. It's not living up to it. I only like it more than Mass Effect 1 because of just the character moments in it, like Morden's sacrifice for the genophage, and points like that are really good to cap off those characters. And Mass Effect 1 doesn't really have those apart from like Caden or Ashley's death. But the Mass Effect series in its universe is probably one of my like most loved universes now after having played it, and I can't wait for the teased new Mass Effect that's coming out at some point. Hopefully it's good and not like Andromeda. Next game is Nier Automata. Now, I know I'm gonna get hate for this. It's just kinda meh. I think this game suffers from me being overhyped, because before playing this game, all I had heard is it's perfect, it's a 10 out of 10, it's the game of the year for like what year it released in, like 2016. It's the game of the year, it's perfect, 2B and 9S are great. At the end of the day, the environment doesn't look that nice, the graphics are like okay. Really the only thing I enjoy about this game is A2, 9S and 2B, and I only like 9S when I'm not playing as him. The 9S second playthrough is probably one of the stupidest decisions in the entire game. It drags the pacing down so much, and I get there's crucial points that you have to see in that story. It just could have been handled a lot more better by either switching between 9S and 2B in the first playthrough, or simply showing it through the A2 playthrough. And yet, that's just like one of the many problems I have with this game. The villains are dog shit, I'm sorry. Adam and Eve are so underdeveloped and annoying. I can't even remember the final villain of the whole game. I think it's 9S fighting A2. That was like okay. Like I'm more angry at this game because of how disappointed I am by it. Like it doesn't do anything like that special. And I guess for like Nier fans of like Replicant and like the old Nier game, then it's probably great. But for me, it's just not anything special. And because it was so overhyped, it's just kind of like falling down. Like if it wasn't overhyped for me, I'd probably get that good rating. But because of how just disappointed I am by it, it's gotta go in meh. I'm sorry to all the Nier fans out there. Next is Spider-Man Miles Morales. Now this game is really special because it was the first game I played on PS5. It was kind of just this moment when I booted it up of just like, this is next gen. This is like wow. This is what gaming has come to. This is like the future of it, and it's probably put it in phenomenal. The only reason it's not near perfect is because of Finn and the kind of rehash of the friend turned enemy thing we had in Spider-Man PS4 of Finn turning into the enemy and stuff like that. But overall, it's a really good game. I really like Miles as a character. I can't wait for Spider-Man 2. Not really much to say because it is just like a kind of a spin-off game. But yeah. Bloodborne. Now, I had finished Bloodborne before this year, except it'd been with a friend who was like crazy over leveled. This was the first time I sat down and finished it completely alone. And I'd say it's near perfect, but it's not better than Dark Souls 3. I really enjoyed Dark Souls 3 more than Bloodborne just because of the tone. The gothic kind of like Lovecraftian tone for me just doesn't do it. Like, I get it's a really fun kind of like concept for a world, but it just doesn't do it for me. Like Cthulhu and stuff like that, I just don't really like it that much. But it's still a really good game. I definitely recommend you play it if you haven't. I'd be surprised if you haven't and you're watching this video, but play it, it's really good. Next is the final two Yakuza games, Yakuza 5 and Yakuza 6. Now, Yakuza 5 is a top 10, 100%. The fact that two Yakuza games have broken my top 10 just shows how good this series is. Literally everything about this game, it's not as perfect as Like a Dragon, but it's really good. It made me cry, it made me love like Kiryu, Akiyama, Saejima even more. Oh fuck, I forgot his name. The baseball guy, I love him a lot. The Haruka parts were surprisingly really fun. I really enjoyed those. And just the quality of the writing in it is like so good. Like it's the perfect middle ground between Yakuza's story being really complicated and it being understandable and processable. Like anything like more or lesser than that, it just kind of is too much or too less. Yakuza 6, I think it's a great cap off to Kiryu's story. I like the Dragon Engine. That's a hot take. I really like the Dragon Engine. It's great fun. It's not like a superb game, but it's like it's better than 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. It's like the third best in my opinion. It's just really solid. And it's like as I said, it's a great cap off to Kiryu's story, him like going into hiding and stuff like that. It's very Kiryu-esque. There's not much for me to say about Yakuza 6, really. I have more words for Yakuza 5. I'll definitely have more words for it when I do replay the series and I make like a video on it. But until then, I don't really have many thoughts on it, and yeah, that is the tier list for every game I played in 2021. And that was the tier list for every game I played in 2021. Did you agree? Do you disagree? Tell me down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and like, as it helps out the channel a lot. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this more kind of laid back, non-edited, shorter, well not shorter, but non-edited video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Have a good day and goodbye.